Hello, I'm Hailianna Grace and welcome to my channel. Today I will be guiding you through a backbending vinyasa flow. We will be using 2 yoga blocks in today's practice. If you have them, bring them to your mat so they are there whenever we need to use them. And if you don't have them, no worries at all. You can just come down and meet me on your mat. To begin in today's class, we'll come down onto our mats. We'll widen the knees as wide as the mat, bringing the big toes to touch and sending your seat all the way back down to your heels. Walk your hands out and rest your forehead on your mat. Starting to tune inwards and really ground in at the beginning of our practice today. You can close the eyes and start to soften in the belly. As you inhale, you can feel your belly expanding and dipping down towards the mat. And on the exhale, feel all of your muscles just soften in this Balasana child's pose. I always love to play around with Balasana at the beginning of my practice. It's always good to find some stillness before we move our bodies. And throughout today's practice, we'll be breathing in and out through our nose. And on your next in-breath, we'll start to get into some movement, lifting your seat off your heels, coming into an all-fours position, tabletop. Bring your knees under your hips and your wrists underneath your shoulders. Press the tops of the feet into the mat. And you can inhale, come forward, shining your heart to the front of the mat. Belly is dipping down and the hips are lifting up, and you can gaze to the front of the room here. And maybe gently rock forward and backward a little bit, just really getting into this pose. And we're even engaging in our core here, even as the belly is dipping. Still squeezing the tummy up and in, feeling that engagement. And on the exhale, we'll press into the first finger and thumb side of the hands. Press into the tops of the feet. Dip your chin into your chest, rounding through the spine. Cat pose. And inhale, open back up to that cow pose. And exhale, round. Really sucking the tummy up and in here. Still doing that rocking motion if it feels good for you. And inhale, we'll come back to center, coming back to a neutral spine. And we'll bring our tummy up and in a little bit more here, just to make sure that our low back isn't crunching. Keeping it nice and up and in. And we're going to open out to a modified side plank. So we're going to shift our weight into this right palm and onto this right knee. And if your right foot kind of goes over to the right side, that is totally fine. You can let it kind of just go wherever helps find your balance today. So you're going to extend your left leg out and long, pressing into the outer edge of that left foot. Right shoulder is directly over the right wrist, and we'll inhale the left arm high to the sky. Maybe gaze up. If gazing up hurts your neck, you can always gaze down. But find a spot on the earth that isn't moving to look at. Maybe you're looking at the sky. Really pressing into that knee and the left foot to start to really feel the engagement in your core and your side body. And maybe you feel a nice long stretch along the left side of your torso. And on the exhale, bring the left palm down to meet the mat again. And we'll do the other side, letting that left foot and shin kind of go towards the left a little bit if that helps your balance. Lining up the left shoulder over your left wrist and extending that right leg out, really pressing into the outer edge of that right foot here. Inhale the right arm high to the sky. Gaze wherever is comfortable for you, and don't forget your breath. In and out through the nose. Really squeezing in the belly. And you can work to try and make sure that that right hip is staying right above the left. Really lifting the torso up here. Really pressing into the outer edge of that right foot. And on the exhale, you can bring that right palm down, coming back into tabletop, and we'll flow through a few more cat-cows. Inhale, opening forward, and exhale, rounding. A few more times with your own breath. And listening to your body today and what it's telling you. Last one here. On your next inhale, coming to a neutral spine, we'll walk our hands forward about a hand's distance, maybe a little more. Widening in the fingertips. Curl the back toes under, and on your exhale, we'll lift the hips high to the sky, coming into our first downward dog of the day. You can adjust yourself here. Your biceps are in line with your ears, and you're really trying to open your inner elbows to the front of the mat. Really rotating so our hearts are very open in this pose. And you can bend in the knees as generously as you need to today to really create that nice long spine. And if your heels don't reach the mat, that's totally fine. This is just the beginning of our practice. I'm sure by the end of this flow, you will have seen some progress in your downward dog. Taking deep breaths here. Kind of going slower today at the beginning of this class. Really feeling into all of the poses we're entering. And as you're ready, we'll walk the feet to the hands, keeping a real bend in the knees, like I said before, just to help create space in the back and relieve any pressure. We're coming into this Uttanasana forward fold now, letting the crown of the head just relax down, releasing any tension in the neck. Taking full breaths here, maybe swaying side to side a little bit. If you'd like, you can grab opposite elbows and really get into this swaying very gently and slowly. And again, never forgetting your breath. The breath is one of our most powerful tools in this practice and in life. ready, come back to center, find stillness if you are swaying, and inhale your halfway lift, shoulders gliding down the back. Back is nice and flat. And exhale, fold once more. And on your next in-breath, we'll slowly come up to standing, one vertebra at a time, really grounding into the feet. Head is the last thing to come up. And we'll inhale, circle our arms down, around, and up. Maybe gaze up as the palms touch. And on the exhale, bring the palms down to heart center. And you can close the eyes here or just start to soften your gaze. We're staying here for a moment. Taking a moment to reflect before our real flow begins. And start to set our intention for today's practice. And today, I want us to acknowledge our inner light. Taking this time to realize how compassionate you are, the kindness that is within you, and make the decision to be compassionate and kind with yourself today on the mat as you move through these poses, as you breathe mindfully, as you set aside this special time for yourself. Today we can make the decision to make it a loving, safe space. And as you're ready, inhale, circle the arms down, around, and up. You can blink the eyes open. And exhale, bend in the knees. Fold over the legs, coming into Uttanasana once more. Plant the palms. Shoulders distance apart, spreading wide through the fingertips. Step one foot back and then the other, coming into your plank pose. Lower the hips slightly. Really squeezing the tummy up and in, and we'll lower down onto our bellies. Untucking the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat. And you can widen the palms out, coming up onto your fingertips, about a hand's distance out wide from your mat. Press the tops of the feet into the mat so much so you're engaging in your legs, really lifting the kneecaps up off of the floor. And on our in-breath, we're going to inhale our heart up off the mat in this nice wide cobra variation. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. We'll do that 2 more times. Inhale, really pressing into the hips and the feet. Exhale, release. Last one. Inhale, rise. And exhale, lower. Hands come down next to the rib cage. Curl the back toes under. And press yourself up into your downward facing dog here. You can pedal out the legs. Taking this moment to walk our dog, really getting into the hamstrings a little bit more here. And kind of taking a moment to notice how the back feels after working it a little bit. And we'll inhale, lift the right leg straight up and back, coming into this 3-leg dog. Really lift that right leg up, and we'll bend the knee, open the hip, squeeze that right heel to the right glute, ground into that left heel into the mat, and really press into the knuckle side of the palms here, really squeezing that heel to the glute. And on our exhale, we're going to bring the knee through, bring it knee to nose, really squeezing up and in, really press into those palms. We're getting into some of the fiery movements now. Squeezing up and in, and inhale, open back up, open that hip, squeeze the right heel to that right glute. We'll do that 2 more times. On the exhale, squeeze knee to nose, really lifting up. Inhale, open, heel to glute. Last one, exhale, squeeze knee to nose. And on your next out breath, step or carry that right foot to the spot between your hands. And we're going to come up into our warrior one pose. So we're going to set ourselves up a little bit, bringing that back foot to the left side of the mat a little bit more, coming so that foot is kind of pointing a little bit wider than the left front corner of your mat. And your hips are going to be kind of your measurement of how far your feet are apart. We're going to inhale, lift up when you're ready, and you can start to adjust your stance so it's wide enough for your hips and your body. You do not want your feet in line with one another. You want to have a nice wide stance so you're nice and balanced here, and your arms are up above your head. Make sure your right knee is over the right ankle, and really try to make those hip bones face the front of the mat, front of the room. Keeping the hip bones almost like headlights, facing forward. You're really pressing into that outer edge of that left foot here. Warrior one is one of the most difficult warriors for me. So if you're struggling here, do not feel bad. Remember our intention, showing ourselves love and kindness today. And as you're ready, we're going to bring our hands behind our back, clasping them, extending them down and opening our heart. But before we do so, I want you to inhale and lengthen out of the back, lifting out of your low back so it's not curving so much. You might want to lift up a little bit out of that front knee, which is totally fine. We're going to do a little bit of a back bend here, and I don't want the back bend to be in our low back. I want that to be in your upper back. So as you're ready, squeeze into the tummy, really engage the core. Inhale, open across the chest, really engaging in the core. And don't forget your breath, reaching the fists down, and maybe you lower the knee a little bit more, maybe bending in it. Don't forget your breath, and don't forget to squeeze in your core. 2 more breaths. And inhale as you're ready, come up out of that opening position, and we're going to bend in the front knee and step that left foot up, keeping the feet hips distance apart, bending in the knees, and we're going to fold over the legs, keeping that fist, opening the shoulders. And don't let your shoulders sink down here towards your head. Make sure you're lifting them back and up. So there's a lot of space for your neck here. And you're working towards your fists, your palms meeting. But if they do not, that is totally fine. And on your next exhale, let the arms come down. Releasing the crown of the head here for a moment. Inhale your halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Inhale, slowly start to come up. Arms up overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Maybe gaze up at the palms. And as you're ready, we're going to start to shift our weight into the left heel, left foot, grounding into the toes, all 4 corners of that foot. We're going to bring the right knee up, and we're going to cross this right leg over the left. Maybe you cross once, maybe you can cross that right foot over the left shin or so. Wherever you are is totally where you are meant to be. And you can respect that. Bend a little bit deeper in those knees. Bending a little lower, sinking the hips lower. Make sure you have most of the weight in the heel of that left foot. And if you'd like, you can cross the arms as well, coming into this full eagle chair pose. You're going to cross the right arm underneath the left, and you can leave the backs of the backs of the hands to touch, or maybe you double cross, bringing the palms to touch. Really lifting the triceps up and off your chest, the back of your arms. Squeezing in the core here. This is a real burner. Deep breaths. And as you're ready, inhale, straighten the legs, uncross. Open the arms out wide for a moment, just to contradict what we just did. And exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale your halfway lift. And exhale, plant the palms, step it back. Taking your flow, your vinyasa flow. Maybe you do the cobras again, or if your back feels warm enough, you can lower down, chaturanga, upward facing dog. We will all meet in our downward facing dog. Getting ready to do the other side of that fiery little flow. And when you're ready, inhale the left leg straight up and back. We're going to really lift that leg up, grounding in the right heel. Bend the left knee, opening the hip. Left heel squeezes to that left glute. We're going to do that little knee to nose sequence here. So whenever you're ready on the exhale, bring that left knee to your nose, really pushing into the palms, pushing into that right foot. Inhale, open. Squeeze the left heel to that left glute. Exhale, knee to nose. Really hugging it up and in. Inhale, open. Last one. Exhale, squeeze. And as you're ready, step or carry that left foot to the spot between your hands. And we're setting up for that warrior one pose again. So whenever you are ready, you can lift your arms up, coming into this high lunge-ish shape if you like first, and then widening your stance. So you're comfortable here, trying to get your hips to face the front of the mat. Really pressing into the outer edge of that right foot. Arms are up overhead. We'll take a few deep breaths here. Bending in that left knee. The left knee is over your left ankle. And the shoulders are down away from the ears. Taking a moment to catch our breath, even though this is still kind of hard. And as you're ready, hands come down behind the back. And this time, cross your hands the weird way. Clasping the other thumb over instead of your usual. And as you're ready, lifting out of the back, the low back, maybe straightening that front knee a little bit here, engaging in the core. As you're ready, inhale, open across the chest, reaching the fists down, maybe rebending in that knee a little more in the front. 2 breaths here. Really squeezing the abs. And as you're ready, coming up and out of that, we're going to bend in the front knee and step the right foot forward, coming into Uttanasana, forward fold with the fists up. Remember to lift the shoulders up away from the neck, creating space, working so those palms are squeezing towards one another. And remembering to bend in the knees here. And as you're ready, exhale, release the arms down for a moment. Inhale your halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And inhale, slowly come up, bringing your arms up and overhead. We're going to shift our weight into the right foot now, crossing the left leg over the right, coming into eagle chair, finding that spot in the earth that isn't moving to stare at. And you can bend in the knees, sending the hips a little bit lower. Most of your weight is in your heels here to protect the knees. And if you'd like, and you did it on the other side, you can take eagle arms as well, crossing the left arm underneath the right. Maybe you cross once, tops of the hands are touching, or maybe you cross twice, palms are touching, finger to palm. Lift the triceps up, lift the arms up, squeeze the belly up and in. We have a tendency to relax the belly here, so really squeeze that. It'll help distract you from the legs. And if you fall out of this pose, do not feel bad. Just coming back to our intention. And as you're ready, inhale, straighten the legs, uncrossing, opening the arms out wide. And exhale, fold over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale your halfway lift. And exhale, plant the palms, step it back. Take our vinyasa here, plank pose, chaturanga, upward facing dog, or still those cobras. Exhale, lowering, and inhale as you rise. We will all meet in our downward dog. And maybe take a moment here to notice how your down dog has progressed. Maybe your heels are touching the mat now. Maybe they are a little bit closer. Maybe you feel like there's no change. And you can use today's intention to show yourself kindness, not judging yourself for any progress you may or may not have made. Just being proud of yourself for being here and today, regardless of the outcome. And on your exhale, bring the knees down onto the mat. And this is where we will have a little bit of fun. This is kind of our peak pose for today. Camel pose, Uttanasana. So this is where we're going to take our blocks, our props that I mentioned earlier, and you're going to set them on the outside of your heels, bringing your knees about hips distance apart, coming so your seat is up, taking a moment here. If you still need to catch your breath, maybe adjust your hair. Letting the shoulders down, away from the ears, relaxing them down. And we're going to inhale, lengthen through the spine, really lift out of the low back, just like how we did in our Warrior One. And you're really squeezing the belly button towards the spine in this pose. We're not trying to bend back in our low back. We're trying to open our upper body, our heart. We're trying to open that area. So inhale, getting tall, really squeezing, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. Or if you'd like, you can always have the toes curled under if you are new to this pose or struggle a little bit with this pose and opening across the front of the body. Take a deep breath here. And on the exhale, you can bring your hands to your low back, kind of as if you're wearing jeans and you have some back pockets, like your fingers are going into those pockets here, pressing into the low back. You're going to start to lean, really squeezing the belly up and in. And you can stay here if this feels intense enough. You can stay here with your palms right there, or you can reach your palms back, coming to those blocks, staying on the fingertips, maybe lowering down with the hands. And maybe if you feel open enough, you can lower down completely. Maybe you gaze back, grabbing onto the heels, and you can release the neck here, really squeezing in the core. Take a few deep breaths. And as you're ready, you're going to come out how you came. Try not to knock your blocks over like I did. And gently coming up out wherever you are. You're going to bring the knees together, coming to sit onto your heels. You can move the blocks out of the way now. We're going to do a gentle twist. It's always good to do some twists after some back bends. So we'll open to the right, bringing the right fingertips back behind you, sitting tall, feeling the twist, kind of wringing out the back bends we just did. Inhale, come forward. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhaling, getting taller. And exhale, twisting. And on your next in-breath, we can come back to center, bringing our seat down onto the mat. And you can start to extend the legs out and start to lower down onto the mat completely. Coming to lie flat, adjusting your shoulders and your back. You can let the arms come out wide. And we can bring our knees into our chest, giving ourselves a hug, a squeeze, gently rocking side to side, giving our back a massage after the back bends and the strengthening we did today. And as you're ready, you can let the legs fall to the right, and you can open your arms out in a T shape here, or maybe cactus arms, and gaze over the left shoulder, maybe close the eyes or soften the gaze. Taking some deep belly breaths in this supine twist. Inhale, coming back to center. And exhale, letting the knees fall to the left now. Keeping your arms in any variation that is serving you today. You can gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, coming back to center. You can give yourself a squeeze now, coming out of the arm variation. One final hug. And as you move into your Shavasana, you can straighten the legs out long, letting the feet fall away from one another. Extending your arms out alongside you, palms can face up, or maybe you take your hands to your belly, or one hand to your heart and one hand to your stomach. And you can start to close the eyes. Before we take our full Shavasana, and I give you a few breaths of silence, I just want to add that now we have shown our self-kindness and compassion on our mat today. Maybe you can take this intention with you throughout your day off the mat. You can be kind to yourself through your wins and your losses. And maybe you even use this for others, showing compassion and kindness to those around you. And we'll take this Shavasana for 10 full breaths. As you're ready, start to invite some movement back into the body, bringing one knee into the chest and then the other. And gently rock side to side, keeping the eyes closed. And whenever you're ready, you can fall to your right side, using your right forearm as a pillow. Taking a full breath here in this transitional pose. And still keeping the eyes closed, gently using your hands, press yourself up into a comfortable seat. Bringing the palms to touch at heart center. Dipping the chin slightly. Maybe let a soft smile reach your face. And start to blink the eyes open, coming back into the room. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. From my heart to yours, namaste.